Alright, tried to run the ball joint tool to get these U-joints out. That wasn't happening. Tried to press. That didn't happen. So now we're going to have to get medieval. Uh, I'm inside, obviously, because the weather out is not great today. Um, so we're going to get the bandsaw out, and we are going to slice through these U-joints. As close to the ears as we can on, the sides that I can get access to, and then we'll slice out, on the other side here once we've freed off one end. I'll show you what I mean with one of these, and then I'll cut the camera and we'll go back after I'm done. So let me grab the bandsaw here and we'll get going. It'd be super helpful if I had the stand for this thing, but I don't. So we're gonna, next place, next shop. So let's... Alright, so we're back from getting the U-joints out. I had to go medieval on these things. They did not want to come out. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on this, but this ear has been bent in, so I'll have to straighten that out. I did the same thing on this one. This ear got bent in. I have to straighten that out. I'm going to double check all of them. I think I only bent 2 ears, maybe 3, but the bearing caps were frozen in those holes. They were not coming out without significant amounts of force. I have a 12-ton shop press, as you see from the transmission rebuild videos for the Jeep. I was making that thing squeak. Things did not want to come out. Torches and grinders were involved. The bandsaw got put away pretty shortly after I cut the filling on that one, because it would eat through the bearing cap, but it wouldn't eat through the bearing surface, which I should have expected. They're hardened surfaces. Grinders with slitting discs, though, those will go through it. So, that's where we're at there. They're all apart. There's one more thing we got to get apart before we can start doing the cleanup. And that is these. These are the spindles. The spindles are where the wheel bearings ride. The axle shafts pass through, so there's a retainer clip and a bearing in there. And the plan here is to pull out the bearings and the retainers. Now, the way we do that is with this. This is a pilot bearing puller. I picked it up at Harbor Freight yesterday. It is, I think I paid a whopping 20 bucks for it, but you see it's got these 2 little flaps in here. You run this main screw down, and this piece, you can see coming down, forces these arms out. Then you run the nut down, and it draws the whole thing out. Now this sits right over top of the spindle. Now I don't really have a good way to show this because I don't have a good surface, so I'm going to get the bearing, or the tool we made for taking the overdrive section apart on the 42RE. It's gotten a little beat up because I was using it as a holder for the drive shafts when I was doing those. We're going to flip this over, we'll set it in there, and we'll tweak it out, and I'll bring the camera down to that. So let's get to that. Now, just slow it down. And just come out. There we go. The camera. That's another thing. So we'll reset back into the process. Alright, as you can see, I got the bearings pulled out. The reason I did so is this one in particular was very dry. The bearing had some grease left in it, but not much. So, needed to come out, especially because I'm going to be wire wheeling all of this to clean it up. The backside's going to get, refreshed where I've got some chisel marks, here, there, there. The other one is a little better, but it's not, 100% better. But you can see on this one that it's, wasn't quite as dry. The axle seal was actually buttoned up against it more than the other one. Both axle seals had failed. So that's part of why those came out, because I couldn't verify the status of them. Now, the next stage of the operation, you should be able to see this. This ear is bent in, so it's got to get straightened out. I have to do this on all 4 yokes because I managed to bend one ear on all 4 of them. So we're going to set up the press. I'll show you how I do one. We'll do the next 3. Then all of these are getting hit and dressed with a wire wheel. They're all going to get taped off on the bearing surfaces. And then the yokes are all going to get repainted. For the larger drive shafts, or axle shafts, same thing. This one, I bent this ear as well. So, got to get straightened out a little bit. I didn't bend them much. They're only bent in, 3 to 5 hundredths of an inch. But it's enough to cause a misalignment when I go to put everything back together. And that's a problem. You have to have these things straight. Now, the proper solution would be to go buy new. I'm not doing that right now. You can heat and bend these a little bit, and it's not going to hurt them. This is not the first time I've done this. This happens when these things seize. So, we are going to get the press set up. I got to move things up a little bit. And then we'll, try to get things lined up and pressed out. And then we're going to get back to straightening. So give me a second to get reset. Okay, I'm set up. This is going to take a little bit of finagling. This ear's got to move. So the trick is getting it, to move. I've got to basically prop part of it up, press down on part of it, and get it to, shuffle where it needs to shuffle. I may bring this back out and put it, something like this as I'm doing it. So I'm now at 2.15. I gotta go another 3. All right, 2.16. 2.7. 2.6 still. 2.7, 2.17. 2175. Just want to sneak up on it. The thing to keep in mind is you want to sneak up on it and deal with the spring back. Now the other thing that's problematic here is this is so rusted and pitted on the inside that it's hard to get a good measurement, so I'm just having to eyeball. But that 2.18 218 218. So that's good. I'm going to do the rest of them. You don't need to watch me do them all. Same process.